Come out to the bar.
Hello, YouTube. Cheers and welcome to the basement. My name is Bruce Lively.
I'm D-Boy Slim.
And the Basement Debates is the first daily hip-hop debate show. From Tuesday through Friday, most times, we tackle the most intriguing topics in hip-hop culture and the world around it. So welcome back, Basement family. And today, we're going to talk about some serious issues in hip-hop that have come up in the past few days. Few weeks, few days. As promised last week, we have to talk about Mysonne risking his freedom to protest, the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. And equally important, we got to debate the impact of Nike running the Kaepernick commercial. You know we're going there. But first is first. We have to say R.I.P. Rest in peace, Mac Miller.
Definitely.
Gone just at the tender age of 26. It's unbelievable. We're going to talk about it. And really today's question is a recurring segment. Stuff like this, everything that's happened. We got to remind ourselves or ask the question, got to debate. Is art imitating life out here or vice versa? Is life imitating art?
Y'all stick with us, get your popcorn. We might have the long extended version. We're going to go into depth. R.i.p. Mac Miller. And we're going to the impact that Kaepernick being chosen as Nike's face of, the face of Nike's campaign. And
just do it.
And the Mysonne.
Yes.
This is more versed on that Mysonne, but let's get into it.
Let's do it. With that being said, Lego. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's been one. I mean, a lot of serious topics, but that Mac Miller, that hit hard. What's funny about it, I'm gonna start this because I was thinking this. And then you mentioned it and it reminded me. I had just spoke Mac Miller's name one day.
It was on the air, you knew.
On the air. One day, live before he actually died.
Yeah, excuse me.
And it just brought it home. I don't know why that brings it home. I'm not sure, but it just does. Like you mentioned somebody's name and you said, man, you don't hear a lot about him anymore. I wonder what happened. And just the next day he's gone. 26 years old. The hip hop community has lost a good one, man. As we went back and listened to some of his music, I'm reminded that he was not just a good rapper, he was an artist. Everything entertainment wise, his way, his look, his singing, his music on the tiny desk that the tiny desk at NPR that we saw.
Yeah. I don't need to lie no more. Nowadays all I do is shine, take a breath and ease my mind. Yeah, she don't cry no more. Tell me that I get her high, cause angels supposed to fly. I ain't asking why no more. No, I take it if it's mine now. Stay inside the lines, it ain't 2009 no more. Yeah, I know what's behind that door. Okay, you gotta jump in to swim, yeah. The light was dim in this life of sin. Now every day I wake up and breathe, yeah. I don't have it all, but that's alright with me.
Hip-hop lost one today, and I don't know how big he was. I knew he was on the come up, but I don't think that people know what they lost until they go back and listen again. People are gonna have different opinions of Mac Miller.
Yeah, Mac actually caught my ear a few years back. I don't want to say all the way back to 2010, but it was several years ago I called on the Mac Miller. And I think it was that joint, the frozen Kool-Aid and frozen pizza.
Yeah, I live a life pretty similar to yours. Used to go to school, hang with friends and play sports. Every single summer taking trips to the shore. And that was all gravy, but I knew I wanted more. Ain't ever else. So what else could I want that I don't have yet? Well, a little more cash in my own fast jet, so I can go anywhere. Music, I don't even talk about it, boy, I just do it. Everybody got their own opinion, the reasons why they feeling them. You must admit he's killing them, running off adrenaline, waiting for the game to wanna let him in. So open up, the boy a barrel of a smoking gun, whether I'm old or young.
And there was something distinct about his flow. There was something pure about his flow. And shouts out to Pittsburgh and all the young dudes coming up out of there, because he brought light to that city, along with Wiz, of course. But Mac also brought light to that city, and so you realize how diverse of the hip hop culture is in Pittsburgh, with him being a white boy. You realize how skillful some of the MCs that come out of Pennsylvania, the state period, but Pittsburgh in itself, like we hadn't really heard too much come out of Pittsburgh. And like I said, man, yeah, the hip hop community, if you're a fan of hip hop, MCing and just good rapping and rhyming or whatever, you know, we lost a good one with Mac Miller. I didn't realize he was so young until he died. But and I won't sit here. I'm not one of them dudes that, you know, now that he's gone,
he's extra special.
Yeah, like I'm gonna keep it all the way. I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck with y'all. I wasn't the biggest Mac Miller fan. And that really only because, like Bruce alluded to, he had mentioned Mac Miller. And it reminded me that I respected Mac Miller and I liked Mac. I just hadn't heard any new material from Mac Miller. Maybe I hadn't been checking in the right places or whatever, but my only thing was I just hadn't really heard, I hadn't really heard any new music from Mac Miller. I definitely respect his MCing, his bars, you know, his ability to rap and flow or whatever. Like he was a definite MC, and like I said, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Mac Miller. It brings us to another question though. How he died, we have to mention it. It was an overdose. So now, what we find out is that, in my opinion, art is imitating life. And I was the staunch one about life imitating art. And because this is an ongoing segment. And not to trivialize his death, but more to bring light to the fact that this is a problem. And when you hear art talking about it, when you hear your 21 Savages or when you hear all the way to whoever it is, the young dudes, your Lil Pumps, your Lil Lils and Lil Lils, all of them super drugged out. It's not that the people are imitating the art and they're trying out new things. It's that this is a lifestyle that these people live. And they sing about it. And i.e., when you live that way, you could get hit by a tomato truck tomorrow. It doesn't mean, it's no judgment. You could die anyway. But we have to say.
And let me point this out and bring this to light too. And I'm not one of them dudes like Lord Jamar or anybody that tries to impose what I feel is the rules of hip hop or anything like that. But let me just point this out and make this distinction about hip hop and this culture that we love and we represent every day. If you like me for the last about 30 years, because I had a brief discussion with Bruce before we got on, and it dawned on me, Bruce is a fanatic and a diehard rock and roll fan, and he when he mentioned the fact of rock and roll, it just came to my mind that's been infused with our culture and hip hop, the whole, and not only music wise, hip hop in its roots and its beginning stages. The message in hip hop was to not abuse drugs, and because as hip hop evolved, obviously, it became cool, the weed, and just if you look at American culture, weed is being more embraced and accepted into everyday American culture. But, you know, at the beginning stages of hip hop, drug abuse was shunned and looked upon and looked down on. It wasn't cool. It was, you know, and, you know, that was the message. If you look back at self-destruction, you know, and songs that came out of the 80s, because of the crack epidemic that was going on, we frowned upon heavy drug usage with heavy drugs, right? I said all that to say, by the time the 90s rolled around, again, you know, you had Snoop and Dr. Dre and that whole West Coast movement. Of course, Cypress Hill, Redman, and Das Effects on the East Coast. That was all, you know, they was all advocates of the weed, you know, smoking some weed. That message got across in the 90s heavy. Things were cool. I mean, you could do your numbers on it. I haven't yet to hear anybody ODing on weed. Now,
Ever.
fast forwarding towards the end of the 90s, and this is why I brought in rock and roll and the distinction with our genre of hip hop and our culture of hip hop, is that rock and roll, you can go back to Aerosmith and all of that, but, you know, as the culture progressed and evolved, a lot of lifestyle was adopted in hip hop that was taken from the rock style lifestyle. So if you look at what was the wallet holders that Jim Jones and Lil Weezy started wearing, and it was, you know, that you put on your belt, and these were all things that if you look back, this was a rock and roll thing. And if you listen to the raps, a lot of it was, you know, they live in a rock and roll lifestyle. We live in a rock star lifestyle. So you do, if those who following me right now and know what I'm talking about, give me feedback. But so what I'm long story short, a lot of rock and roll and what they were doing in that genre of music and that culture was adopted and embraced by the hip hop culture. Along with that, I said all that to say the drugs. Because as we know, when you talk about rock and roll, the first thing that comes up is sex, drugs, and, you know,
Rock and roll.
Right, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So I do think that has some unintended, like, I do think that has some indirect correlation with that has something to do with it. The whole idea of living a rock star lifestyle. Life is imitating art. That's, yeah, I'm on the side of life imitating art.
I say art is imitating life because the consequences are available to see. Like, you can see what's happening and what these kids are talking about, they're actually doing. Likewise, Mysonne. Let's talk about Mysonne getting thrown out the Capitol building, I think that's what it's called, during the confirmation hearing of Brett Kavanaugh. Trump appointed Supreme Court Justice, right, who's not there yet, but they're trying to confirm him. That's why it's the confirmation hearing. Holding back paperwork, he's not answering questions, all types of stuff, but more importantly, they just don't want anybody that can subvert the law under Trump's instruction on the Supreme Court until he's out of there, or at least until he's not indicted anymore, at least until he proves himself innocent. Then you can let him put somebody on the Supreme Court. Now, the mere fact that you see someone like Mysonne there reminds you that his life actually informs his art. When you saw his 10-minute super duper freestyles, both of them on Funk Flex, and he's talking about the kids, he's talking about the community, and he's talking about the laws, and he's talking about black people, he's talking about culture. This isn't just something that is new. Because he said that he didn't go to protest and get thrown out and risk his freedom. Because he risks his freedom and gets thrown out is why he talks like that. I say the same thing with Mac Miller. Because they do this, because they're in depressed situations, or because they come from depressed backgrounds and histories, that when 666 Mafia started talking about the cocaine and the other things and the lean, and when they're talking about that in Houston, it was things that was already bubbling. that was already there that have become a part of that culture that they start to rap about. There might be a few that see Mysonne and go do what he did, and so therefore life would imitate art at that point. And there might be a few that think it's cool, to sip lean, and then they do that. But for the most part, that was already bubbling. Somebody who was talking about it is actually doing it. And that's why I flipped on this position. And now you flip the other way.
In the case of Mac Miller, well, it may be both.
Spit it out.
With Mac Miller being the artist that he is, the culture that's today of like I said, abusing drugs and his rock star lifestyle, it may be the artists themselves that are perpetuating this and are the catalyst to this whole thing anyway. So in the case of Mysonne, I applaud and salute the brother. The brother has turned his life into one. He's an activist. There's no other way to put that. He's far beyond what an artist does or what an artist is, and become a real live activist. And when that happens, you add to your status tenfold, a la Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown's of the world, and great segue for whom the next individual that we're about to speak about, which is Colin Kaepernick, which is what he's become.
So this is a separate type of art now. Art imitating life. Commercials, videos.
You like that segue.
The art. I love that segue. That was great. Is this is just plain out simple. Nike pushing Kaepernick for the Just Do It 30th anniversary, stirring up the world, the Republican world. Everybody else is okay with it.
Y'all out there burning your Nikes, huh?
But now this is another thing. The art is not necessarily music, but it's art imitating life. They realized that the dollars come from Kaepernick kneeling was because of something bubbling underneath. Reality. And just that in itself has caused such a stir, and then the orange guy, Trump, turning it into even more than I think it would have been if he didn't talk about it.
Donnie Tiny Head.
Donnie Tiny Hands. You got it. Jimmy Dore. He's hilarious. Y'all go check out his show. He called him that, and I've been using it ever since. Johnny Tiny Hands. Donnie Tiny Hands. Excuse me. Anyway, it's bubbling from something real. Nike has capitalized on it. I say too little too late, quite frankly. They've been using slaves and kids and people all over the world to make their shoes for 8 cents while they sell them for 150 and price gouge the people who support them. But anyway, besides that, fine. What they realize is it's profitable, that this is bubbling, and that if you actually have the guts to talk about it and say, okay, we're going to support him, your bottom line is going to go up because it's already been there. It's not that people are going, look, there's not going to be that many people who weren't with Colin Kaepernick, but now, since they like Nike, are going to be like, oh yeah, I do like Kaepernick. You know what I'm saying? Like they're betting on the fact that this has been bubbling so long that all black people on American soil know why he kneeled, and that will give you money for that commercial right now. Period. You got my money.
Nike is very in tune with the culture, very in tune with the youth, and Nike sales going up should
30%
should be an indication,
or 30 points or something like that.
To us as black people that you have power,
economic power. Please talk about it. Please talk about it.
Understand that that's the most important power. You know, you hear about this and that, and you know that's true power when you can affect markets, and such as a Nike, which is $1 billion corporation. That's the true power, and that's the most important power, and that's just simply the point I wanted to get across, is that it's a good thing what's going on. Don't let anybody fool you, not Donnie Tiny Hands or the rest of the Republicans that seem to, believe his nonsense.
And that's ending too. I know you guys. What's her name? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Come on, man. Alexandra, whatever. Come on, man. It's ending. You guys have got to let this go. The blue wave is coming. Democrats are coming back in. But besides that,
they're showing out that, when we get out there and make a move and, like I said, exercise these powers, what type of an impact it can make and have, and the type of influence we do have. That's all. That's coming to that. If people are just coming to that realization, good. It's like I said, it's a good thing that Nike's done. So
it is a good thing that they've done. Too little, too late. But I'll give them their time, and I'll give them their time since they're doing so. When somebody does something good, even if it's Trump did something good, you got to admit that they're doing something good. But it doesn't negate the fact that Nike is a horrible company, people, that does horrible things. But anyway,
got Nike.
I'm just saying, man. They're horrible. All of my Nikes have been given to me. I've never bought a pair.
Don't listen to this.
In my life.
Don't listen.
But I will wear them. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. These drinks is pretty nice, too.
Got a fresh pair of Nikes on his feet.
It's okay.
Don't listen to this.
But yeah, now that they did Colin Kaepernick, I feel better wearing my Nikes. Listen, man, art is imitating life at this point, and I think maybe it goes in a circle. Maybe that's why it's hard to explain. Maybe that's why this is a recurring segment. Is because it's at some point it will follow the other one.
Right.
But I do think right now art is imitating life, and to consequences that are some are good and some are devastating, as in Mac Miller, r.i.p. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the whole debate? Give us your opinion. Leave it right there. We'll shout you out.
I agree with you on that point, bro. I think at certain points and at certain times, they chase each other. And again, I hope that we talked about some of the things you guys are probably talking about at home. Mac Miller, if you haven't checked out Mac Miller, go check him out. Again, like I said, the Kool-Aid, the frozen pizza and Kool-Aid joint was one of the joints I checked out early, and that's early in his career. But he has a whole catalog.
Dude can rap. Dude is an artist.
He was dead nice.
I've never heard one that I didn't like. How about that?
Go check him out. Let's not lose focus either. Eminem hasn't responded yet. The clock is ticking. I think it's going to be 12. I don't know where you guys at. We're on the East Coast, but it's going to be 12 o'clock soon. And
I haven't heard a response. I did see him sit down. I did see him sit down at the Pac-Man table, play the Pac-Man on Instagram, foreshadowing things just to get buzz up. I like the strategy only if he comes with something, and it better be soon. Like, this is getting ridiculous. We said 5 days, right?
I mean, we shunned Meek Mill when he did that, so I don't think M gets a pass.
He has a week. Oh my God, I said a week, so I'll give him the 2 more for 7 days. Jeez Louise. Oh my God. Don't do this, M.
Is it the new kid's turn now?
Listen, that brings us to Grant Moore. That's exactly what he was talking about. Grant Moore, you get a shout out from us, and you're a new subscriber. He said he liked and subscribe. Keep it up, guys. I hope Eminem responds. This is definitely good for hip hop. I agree with everything you just said, and I hope he responds. This is ridiculous. Come on, Em. Don't do us like this. King Ice says, due to the seriousness of MGK diss, I think he should have responded immediately. Sorry, what do you want me to say? You're right. But I was giving him 5 days. I'm extending it to 7 because I'm just hoping that it's a plan.
He told you we tired of them sweatsuits and them corny hats. Let's talk about it.
Bloods, Crips, and Essays, as D-Boy just alluded to, said I wasn't saying conspiracy about McCain's death, but it's all good. There's something else inside. MGK pulled that heat out, waiting on M respond. Everybody's saying the same thing. All G's react. If M don't respond in 5 more days, it's an automatic L.
The L, you got the whole left right there.
My Tribe TV, all out of tech. both these wiggers are just wiggers. But MGK got that dude. Well, I don't agree with the whole wigger thing. I don't know what that is like that. I think our whole point of when we was talking about them the last time was that they're one of the few white people that's in rap that you never have to worry about what are their motives or what they're there for. They just talk about themselves and their own thing. They're very transparent, and I like that about them. I don't like them trying to act like, oh, I come from the black neighborhood. He said it 8 Mile. Dude lives in a trailer park, and he said it many times. I'm not sure even what a wigger is, but yes, My Tribe TV, I feel you. Joel Joseph. What? You read that, maybe I'm wrong.
I did not like the beat, but the verses were tight.
That must be MGK.
I like the beat and the hook.
I like the beat.
I thought it was hard. I don't think it was supposed to be a happy beat. It wasn't meant for it to be a, one of those happy club dancing with your family type beats. It was supposed to be mean and tough. That's what it was.
I gotta say I liked it.
I liked the beat. I liked the hook. You didn't like the hook. So you didn't like when he said, those we tired of those sweatsuits and corny hats. Let's talk about it. You didn't like that. All right. Well.
I didn't like the hook. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I didn't like it. Let's see. Brian Guilford said, "Sup guys, just showing some love." And you know what? We show love right back. Salute to you, brother. Brian Guilford. Sonia Toon said, "Wow, I never heard of MGK." You got to get up on your hip hop, Sonia. Come on now. But he is nice lyrically, and I still think Eminem is going to straight blow it out the water when he responds. Again, another response. Where's the response, Em?
Anticipating.
Oh my God.
I haven't heard one yet.
Victoria Paye, you already know, she said awesome, and yes it is, and yes you are. Thank you for commenting and watching every one of our shows, Victoria. Justin Marino, M is way more lyrical and would destroy just about anyone on some battle rhymes. MGK is whack. And if M goes in on him with the whole song, it's over. So, that's what I was saying was he only had a few lines about him. He hasn't done the whole song. MGK has now said, I'm fighting back. Eminem gets a chance. And if you heard the song that Eminem really dissed him on, he went hard. But I don't think MGK is whack. Sorry, Justin Marino. I think that he came back with a proper response. I think he did his thing.
Yeah,
Alexa. Can't wait to see where this battle goes. All of us are waiting. Thank you, Alexa. Camo Beats. I'm gonna get him back though. That's that everybody said. Listen, how?
That's the consensus.
This is the consensus. All right, so listen, Just Rome, new subscriber. Y'all check out his song, Rockstar. Just Rome, J-U-S Rome. Appreciate the love too, man. You just subscribe to us. Lil JC956. Just shout out, much love. Appreciate that, Lil JC956. Nicole Antonio said, can't wait to hear M's comeback. And that is the overwhelming consensus, which is why I think it was a win-win, like I said in the last show. Tukey Humble Vision, new subscriber, appreciate you. And that's it. To everybody who watches, listens, writes in, says something, comments, and go to the Patreon page and support the show. We appreciate everything, man. That's the base.
Better be one of the best hip-hop diss songs we ever heard. That's all I can say.
Better be one of the best hip-hop diss songs we ever heard. That's all I can say.
And
might be over for the sweatsuits and corny hat. I don't know.
Don't be disrespectful. The basement.
We out of here.
Peace.